Hey, welcome back. This is video 2. If you caught video 1, you know that I've started this 3-video series on building a powerful brand, a brand that works for your architecture firm. So if you haven't watched video 1, go back and watch that because it's step number 1. You need to start at step 1. And just in a sentence, step number 1 is knowing, understanding, developing empathy for your ideal client. That's the first thing you have to do in order to build a powerful brand for your architecture firm. But what about step 2? I promised you in video 1, I'd give you step number 2, and this is it. Step number 2, again, remember, we're focused on our ideal client. That's who we want to attract, right? We want to attract our ideal client, those that value us, those people that we really, really love to work with. So step number 2 in building that powerful brand, once we know who that ideal client is, we have to understand how to talk about ourselves. Think about your website. You've got an About Us page on your website or something like that. How are you talking to your ideal clients? Remember, we're focused on that ideal client because those are the people that we want to attract. So what happens? What happens when you're at a family reunion or you're at a networking event or something like that, and you run into someone that spends all of their time talking about themselves? Think about that for a minute. Remember back, because I know you've run into that before. When you run into a situation where someone spends all this time talking about themselves, what happens to your brain? Well, I'll tell you what happens to your brain. It's human nature. Your brain turns off. It mutes that person and starts thinking, how do I get out of this conversation as quickly as possible and on to something else, into another conversation maybe. So think about that, remember that experience, and then think about your About Us or About page. Is your About page that person that spends the whole time talking about themselves? Or does your About page tell a story? Does your About page talk about your ideal clients, the problems that they have, the journeys that they go through, the solutions that they're looking for, and the results that they value? Imagine writing an About Us page that your ideal client lands on and starts reading and goes, oh my gosh, it's like this story is about me, or I can imagine myself being a part of this story. This is the firm that I want to know more about. This is a firm that I want to work with, because they really understand me and my situation. That, ironically, is what your ideal client is going to your About page expecting. It says About Us, or it says About. So wouldn't it be about us? Well, you would think so, right? But your ideal client is going there and looking at that and everything that's on that page through the lens that says, what's in it for me? And so that's the lesson here in video number 2. And the second step in building a powerful brand for an architecture firm is, yes, you're a professional services firm. Yes, you're a professional. Yes, you're an expert. You need to put that aside for a minute. You need to talk to your ideal clients about your ideal clients. One trick that I like to use is with many of my clients, I can go to their About page and I can see what's written there. And it usually says something about, we started this firm. Maybe it's a third generation firm, and maybe it was formed on some sort of passion for something. And eventually it'll get down to, we do these types of projects and provide these types of solutions for these types of clients. And say, okay, as a starting point, what if we take that story that's written there and we flip it upside down? Think about that for a minute. If I flip that story upside down, suddenly I'm talking about my ideal client, and I'm talking about the problems that they have and the solutions that we provide and the results that they see after the solutions come from our work. And then after that, again, I flip that story upside down. So right after that, start talking about the reason that we do this is because we have a passion for this. We formed this firm 3 generations ago, and my grandpa Bill was the original founder. It's a little bit uncanny, but almost always the about page is written in that way. So we can, as a starting point, we can flip it upside down and make the about page about our ideal clients, their problems, the solutions they're seeking, the results that they really value. So think about that as you communicate about yourself. Web page, emails, proposals, social media, wherever it is that you're going to communicate to and with these ideal clients. Communicate with a story that your ideal client can read, can listen to, can watch, and say, I can imagine myself being part of the story, or I can imagine this story actually being about me. I totally identify with it. When they have that feeling, they're going to want to know more. When they have that feeling, they're going to want to work with your firm. Now, I'm going to give you a little secret. I work with a lot of firms on pitches. They've made a shortlist interview. They need to go in and give their pitch. I help a lot of firms with those kinds of efforts, as well as other types of things. And almost always, what happens is I'll get a call and say, "Hey, we've been losing projects that we used to win. In fact, we just lost this one, and we just knew it was going to be our project. We just knew it was a project that we were going to win, but we lost." The first thing that I do is say, okay, let's see if we can get with someone on that selection committee or the whole selection committee and get a debrief. Let's find out why this other firm was selected, why you weren't selected. Let's find out as much as we can about their reaction to your last presentation. And invariably what will happen is it will go down, if we can get a sit down with the selection committee, one of the things that will be said is that we selected this other firm because they just felt like the right fit. What do you think happens with my client? The first thing that happens is their head's exploding. Oh, what do you mean they felt like the right fit? We're the experts. We've done more projects like this than they have. We have this, whether they say this out loud or not, we have much more experience. We have a deeper bench, whatever all the arguments are. And many times they miss that lesson where the client said they felt like a better fit. Think about your About Us page. When someone lands there and reads it, do they read that and say, oh my gosh, it feels like this firm is exactly the right fit for us? If you're like that person at the networking event that spends the whole time talking about themselves, then the answer to that question is probably not. Most people don't want to work with that person. Most people don't want to have a quote unquote conversation where they simply listen to the other person going on and on about themselves. Flip that upside down. You start talking about the client. You start talking about the problem, the solution, the results, the value, the passion, and then who you are. Suddenly, you might find yourselves feeling like the right fit. If you want to know more, if you want to hear what step 3 to building a powerful brand for your architecture firm is, look for video number 3. It's coming soon. So look for video 3. But if you'd like to skip ahead, if you'd like to dig deeper into this, go to EntreArchitect.com/brand course and sign up for the Build Your Brand course. It's a course where I go step by step and help you build a powerful brand for your architecture firm. It doesn't matter what size you are. One person, 600 people, it doesn't matter. I walk you step by step through the brand building process and help you understand the difference between a brand like Coca-Cola and an architecture firm. Of course they're different. Of course the brands have to be different. And one of the big differences is that a brand for an architecture firm has to work for you. No one goes into the store and looks for you on the shelf. No one runs into the gas station and sticks the cup under the little thing and gets a cup of you. It doesn't work that way. Professional services firms, architecture firms are different. So you have to build a brand that's specific to architecture firms, and you have to build a brand that works, that does the work of attracting your ideal client, those projects that you want, and those fees that you deserve. So if you're ready to dig into that, go to EntreArchitect.com/brand course. If you're not ready, video number 3 will give you the third step in building a powerful brand for your architecture firm.